Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our journey in discovering one new Chinese expression a day. Yesterday, we talked about 黄袍加身, which was occurrence 1,000 years ago, of how the transition of power, kind of peaceful transition of power in the Chinese historical moment when the hereditary system of happened to be a young king, like a kid king. And then the military guys turn around to say, we don't want the young boy to be our leader. We want our alpha. So they pick the best man everybody trusts, agree on to be the king, the new king. So that's 黄袍加身. And 黄袍 is a Chinese symbol for power because only one person in the whole world can wear yellow color robe. Okay, today we continue with 身 in 身手矫健. 身手矫健 is a phrase that can still be heard, commonly heard and used to describe athletic bodies, basically able body, but beyond able is athletic bodies because it's 矫 and 健 is how athleticity was described in Chinese language. So, okay, first we start with body, yes, because athleticity have to be the full body movement, right? So this body is a visual representation of the skeleton structure of a human body. This is the cage. And these are the two legs. I'm not sure about the tail. Somebody, if you know, let me know. And the side is a human figure that's kind of shrunk to small too. Basically, this shows it's a human, belongs to the human, this body structure. Okay, so the skeleton, meaning the full body. And then hand, we have the 5-finger hand symbol. And again, I'm not sure why the middle finger bent. I don't know. Sometimes language got mysteries like this. We know this is 5-finger hand symbol, fully spread out, but we don't know. At least I don't know. So it's continuing going to be discovered as I do more of such episode. Maybe one day epiphany shown to me why it's bent, the middle finger. Okay, so, and by the way, middle finger thing is a Western hand gesture. There was no such thing in Chinese. If you raise middle finger to ancient Chinese user, they wouldn't know whatever that is. Yeah, so this is what I learned later when I was learning English. I learned more about the culture. I realized, oh, okay, a special hand gesture. You don't be careful not to use that often, right? Okay, so 身手. It's interesting that when describing somebody as athletic, instead of any other organs of the body, like your torso or your legs, which got bigger power muscle and which is more about the speed, like Olympic Games, a lot of them are leg focused sports. The Chinese use a 身手, like instead of full limb, we just use a hand. Isn't that interesting? And I'm thinking probably this relates to the ancient times, wartime. So 身手, 身 is your have able body, right? And then 手 is what you can do, the damage you can deal with your hand. Probably ancient times, a lot of time, the warriors, they have to use their hand to build things or to archery to do the release of or to use daggers or spears. So a lot of them are handheld weapons. So if your hand is stable and flexible, all that contribute to the results. So out of all the body parts, hand was singled out to represent your whole body's athleticity. Okay, so athleticity here represented by 矫 and 健. As a language user, I often hear 矫健. We know it's somebody who is super athletic, both in terms of speed, strength, flexibility. It's awesome. The best type of human body, kind of a Greek Olympian, image. That's the 矫健 image, right? And when we unpack it, we separate what is 脚, what is 剑. Then there is this deeper understanding of what Chinese culture attribute to why somebody is considered 矫健 or not. So 矫 come from straight, okay? The straight doesn't have the other connotations in English. It simply means straight, like this, straight, okay? Visually straight. It came from the left-hand side is, in contemporary, is a 矢, so left-hand side means the arrow. So bow and arrow, probably one of the most common weaponry used back then. So this is the arrow part. And the right side is 桥. So it's a sound maker, yes. But what does 桥 mean? 桥 actually means something that is tall, that came from this image. That's kind of a partial. It didn't show the full frame of it. But there's two kind of circular thing on each side of this arch. So arch means it's a space, right? And then there's one sphere, the other sphere, that gives you kind of a location or the sense of spatial differentiation of the lower level, the second level. So a lot of times this means like a tall building, at least a 2-story high. So each one we can regard it as a window of that. So this means tall, definitely tall in relevance to the human height, because what the door frame have to fit on average most of the people as tall as the most people are, right? And then if it's second story, it's guaranteed to be higher than humans. So this is symbol for tall. Now, the top portion, kind of like, okay, 2 arms, 2 legs, kind of somebody in a big stride, and then with a hand bent over. So, okay, a few episodes ago, I said it means somebody who is walking fast walking. That's when you bend your head forward to go to the direction, to kind of direct and facilitate and orient, right? To keep the momentum of going one way. That's one explanation. And another explanation is this 2 arms and 2 legs mean somebody who is a full grown, like a full limbed, able body, right? However, the head is bent, and that bending means it's not straight standing. Somehow, due to some reason, somebody's head is bent. So this bending becomes, and like even if it's a small portion of the full frame of this yao, this character, it takes the major meaning. That means it's not straight, it's bended. So bended and tall together means something that is tall, but is not straight. It's bended tall. Can we picture anything that's bended tall? Okay, in fact, this character oftentimes paired with wood symbol to describe a particular kind of wood that's it got trunks and stems and I guess trunks and branches that's kind of twisted. It's not straight, and most often it's in warmer climate when the trees, I guess, have the liberty to grow into different shapes versus like a probably northern forest in colder climate that they grow like one way toward the sun, toward the sky, straight up. So that's the northern wood. But the southern wood, probably because the sun goes everywhere and reaching out to the sun is not a priority for them. So the trees do have the liberty to grow into different weird shapes. That could be one explanation, but the whole thing means something grow tall, but not in a straight way. It's kind of bended. So that paired with the arrow sign together, language creators put it the bend and tall with the arrow to mean it's a type of arrow that's after using multiple times, I guess, it's bended, it's not straight anymore. And in a practice of bow and arrow, archery, that having straight arrow affects your accuracy significantly. So straighten arrow is one part of the practice of maintenance, or having the better result. So straightening arrow together was created in such a way that to mean, okay, the arrow that's bent, it's tall, but it's bent. So therefore, there's a tool specific for that purpose, and tool and the process, I guess, together it means straightening the arrow. So from straightening of the arrow, eventually got extended into straightening of human beings. And from straightening, eventually got to mean it's like the posture got corrected to the optimal way. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a stiff torso, but a lot of times it is about that, but also it means your posture, you're carrying yourself in a straight way. Or, we are born with our muscles and body that tend to do things in a certain way that may not be the best one, right? So after a lot of training, a lot of feedback, and a lot of corrections, and then the body is kind of fine-tuned to be the best in its best performance, in its best posture. So that means 脚, straightening arrow to straightening your posture, straightening of the human beings, or aligning your skeleton. So that's 脚健. We have the 3-finger hand symbol here, holding a brush. That's like that. That means somebody who is in the power to write, to communicate, to execute the orders given from the above. So whatever the top of the hierarchy said, I want to build a dam or something, then somebody write down that order, execute it. So here is an interesting abstraction, or the way of writing it. But this actually means some actions is carried out, and probably is collectively. And on the left side is human body. So it's something related to human, applied to human behavior or appearance. And then the right side means construction, because construction involved with this government. This means government authority. So it's government funded or executed order of carrying out some civil engineering, like building a dam or irrigation project to contain the river, building a bank or something like that. That's beyond any personal or community scope. It has to be going to the national scope of such big civil engineering projects. So this civil engineering basically then means building, to change the landscape in a certain way that benefit people living on there, right? So this construction or building then applied to a human figure means build your body, to construct the landscape of your body so that it's optimized. So in both ways, 矫健, either straightened or builded, means human body after training, after this correction, after this building up process, that's the result you're going to see that represent here. That's 身手矫健. Basically, it means athletic. So that's the result. In English, we'll just say athletic. We use athlete. I guess there are pros that's considered athlete, or I guess every one of us can be regarded as athlete to a different degree, right? But athletic means it's like more, we're aiming high. Somebody who, after training many years, the body can achieve a certain flexibility or speed or strength, carry out amazing tasks. So that's 身手矫健. And here I'm using just a random picture of somebody jumping up high, and I can tell as a yoga practitioner, bend your knees up in the air and your arms backward like that. It's not an easy thing to do. So over that picture, that alone, I mean, you can try it out and see if you can do it. But I know this one is it's athletic move. So that to show, okay, this is what I mean by 身手矫健. And interestingly, like hands do, like even if hands does nothing over there, but the Chinese have like zoom in to have this function of the hand emphasize that. That's what make you 身手矫健. Okay, cash into can think of thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.